welcome back to the channel. This is Out of the Hat Gaming, and today we're going to talk about facts. Yes, facts. This is 48 facts about Watchdogs. Thank you, Nelson Morales, for that random number, and no, I don't think he's related to Miles Morales. Anyways, let's get started. Fact number 1, Watch Dogs was released for Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One in May of 2014, and a Wii U version was released in November of 2014. Downloadable content, or DLC, for the game titled Watch Dogs Bad Blood was released in September of 2014. Number 2, Watch Dogs is set in a fictionalized version of Chicago in 2013. The game follows a gray hat hacker and vigilante Aiden Pierce's quest for revenge after the killing of his niece. Number 3, Watch Dogs development began in 2009 with a budget of $68 million. Number 4, Watch Dogs takes place in a fictionalized version of a real-life city that has implemented CTOS, or Chicago's Central Operating System, which regulates all manner of electronics within the city, from surveillance cameras to traffic lights. It's ran by major private companies who use it for their own gains. It records and stores every part of a person's life, and in turn figures out how one thinks. Sounds pretty scary, honestly. Number 5, Watch Dogs was developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft. Number 6, development of the game began in 2009 and continued over 5 years. Duties were shared by many of the Ubisoft studios worldwide, with more than 1,000 people involved. Number 7, the developers of Watch Dogs visited Chicago to conduct field research on the setting and used regional language for authenticity. The hacking features in the game were created in consultation with the cybersecurity company Kaspersky Lab, and the in-game control system was based on SCADA. And for pretty much all of you that don't know what the SCADA stands for, it stands for the Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, which is a control system agriculture comprising computers, networking data, communications, and graphical user interfaces for high-level supervision of machines and processes. It also covers sensors and other devices such as programmable logic controllers, which interface with process, plant, or machinery. Believe me when I tell you, I literally read all that because there's no way that I would ever understand what the heck that even means. I didn't realize that I'd need a degree in computer science to make a simple fact video here on YouTube. Number 8, the music score was composed by Brian Ritzel, who infused it with krautrock, which is a broad genre of experimental rock that was developed in West Germany in the late 1960s and early 70s. Number 9, following its announcement in June of 2012, Watch Dogs was widely anticipated. The game received generally favorable reviews. The praise was directed at the gameplay missions and the open world design, the combat system, the hacking elements, and the mission variety. While criticism was expressed concerning technical issues, the discrepancy in graphical quality between marketing and the real game, plot, and protagonist. Number 10, like I said, this game did have its share of controversy when it first released. The trailers and the advertising for the game were a little misleading. It was advertised to supposedly be absolutely groundbreaking, and it was supposed to look phenomenal, way better than what we got. The graphics in the final build fell short of breathtaking, and it was not a phenomenon unique to Ubisoft as it was supposed to be. Later on, gamers found out that the graphics as advertised were available in the game, but only on the PC version of the game, and you have to have a very powerful PC to enable them. And you also had to know how to mod because it was literally in the code of the game, but the graphic quality was not available at all on console because they weren't powerful enough, and you can't really mod a console. Number 11. Despite the controversy, Watch Dogs was still a commercial success, breaking the record for the biggest first-day sales of a Ubisoft game and becoming the biggest launch of the new intellectual property in the United Kingdom at the time. Number 12. The game has shipped over 10 million copies, and because of this, a sequel, Watch Dogs 2, was released in November of 2016, and a third game, Watch Dogs Legion, was released in October of 2020. Number 13. Gameplay in Watch Dogs focuses on an open world where the player can complete missions to progress the overall story, as well as engage in various side activities. Number 14. The core gameplay of Watch Dogs consists of driving, shooting, stealth segments with occasional role-playing and puzzle elements. Number 15. The antagonists are usually corrupt companies, crime bosses, and rival hackers who take advantage of CTOS, which is the thing that I explained earlier, a fictional computing network that connects every electronic device in the city together into a single system and stores personal information on most citizens. The player also has access to CTOS, which can be used to control various devices to assist them in combat, stealth, or solving puzzles. Number 16, just a quick summary of the story. The game is set within a fictionalized version of the Chicago metropolitan area in 2013. The game follows a gray hat hacker and vigilante, Aiden Pierce, and his quest for revenge after the killing of his niece. Number 17, Watch Dogs was derived from a potential sequel from the Driver series, which had been in development at Ubisoft Montreal, which coincidentally enough, Driver San Francisco was released in 2011 and developed by Ubisoft Reflections. It was supposed to be a Driver game that came directly after Driver San Francisco, but it did not have a strong enough commercial performance, leading to the Driver game at Montreal being reworked into one that focused on the hacking, but still incorporated some driving elements, which is the game we see today. Number 18, Ubisoft Montreal was Watch Dogs' lead developing company, with additional support provided by Ubisoft Reflections, Ubisoft Paris, Ubisoft Quebec, and Ubisoft Bucharest. I don't know if I said that correctly. Number 19, here's something rather interesting. An ebook called Dark Clouds by John Shirley is a continuation of the first Watch Dogs and was released in conjunction with the game. Number 20, a comic book miniseries titled Watch Dogs Return to Rikina was also published by Titan Comics in 2019. It was later merged into a single book. Number 21. In 2013, it was rumored that a film adaptation of the first Watch Dogs games was in development by Ubisoft Motion Pictures, Sony Pictures Entertainment, and New Regency. In 2014, Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese were commissioned to write the film. In 2016, Engadget published an article stating that the film was still in development and that Ubisoft planned to make film renditions for all of its franchises. While a film adaptation of Ubisoft's most popular franchise, Assassin's Creed, was released the same year, there has been no news about the Watch Dogs film since the project remains stuck in development hell. And after how poorly the Assassin's Creed movie did, don't ruin this franchise, just leave it a video game, please. Number 22, according to senior producer of Ubisoft Dominic Guay, Aiden Pierce was based on the characters Dexter from the show Dexter and Walter White from the show Breaking Bad. He did this to show that Aiden isn't necessarily a good guy or a bad guy, more or less right down the middle. Number 23, the original name for Watch Dogs was going to be Nexus, but they later decided to change it to Watch Dogs, but you can still see some references of Nexus in the game. Number 24, there are over 65 vehicles in Watch Dogs, each with their own unique physics. These vehicles range from average small hatchbacks and minivans up to exotic sports cars and large heavy trucks. Land-based vehicles are not the only medium by which the player may travel. Boats are also a form of transportation in the game as well. Aircrafts, unfortunately, cannot be flown by the player in Watch Dogs. Number 25, Watch Dogs features several different types of weapons which Aiden can use when backed into a corner or in order to augment his hacking abilities. Weapons and ammunition can be purchased from stores or picked up from killed enemies. Number 26, weapons range from compact handguns up to shotguns and 50 caliber sniper rifles and grenade launchers. Aiden can also craft IED bombs and frag grenades. Number 27, many of the weapons in Watch Dogs appear in other Ubisoft games, as an example, the D50 Vector ACP, M1911, MP5, U100, SVD, AK-47, P416, and the GL94 all appear in the game Far Cry 3. I made another video about Far Cry 3. If you haven't checked that one out, check out the description of this video or click the card after you're done watching this video, of course. Number 28, Ubisoft Montreal built an entirely new engine to build Watch Dogs in, and it's called Disrupt. Disrupt uses dynamic simulation to simulate physical interactions super realistically and seamless online connectivity. The engine was created to allow for cross-generation and cross-platform play. Disrupt also has the ability to dynamically simulate particles and clutter that are affected by wind. Disrupt also simulates electricity, allowing the players to cause citywide blackouts. Number 29, because this game was prioritized on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the generation before the PS3 and Xbox 360 weren't the best choices when this game came out. The multiplayer mode was pretty much axed on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360's versions, as well as there were some small frame rate drops compared to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Before doing research for this video, I didn't even know there was a PS3 and Xbox 360 version of this game. Number 30, for the development of the cutscenes in Watch Dogs, they used motion capture. Director Kun Chang directed around 120 minutes of motion capture footage for the game. And when you really think about it, 120 minutes doesn't really seem very long, actually. Number 31, in the game you can scan people to profile them, and the number of profiles is so numerous that you will never run into a duplicate profile. Number 32, the game was originally supposed to be released in November of 2013, but was pushed back to polish up the game even more, specifically to make the city seem more lifelike and authentic, including tweaks to the amount of information the profiler gives you and even recording more dialogue for the NPCs, which I actually prefer developers to be doing this rather than release a half-finished game and decide to update it and make it better later. Like, I hate that, and that's what they're doing nowadays. Number 33, Aiden Pierce was voiced by Noam Jenkins. That sounds like a fake name. But it's not a fake name because he also played Michael Marks in the Saw franchise, and he was in a bunch of other movies that you've probably never heard of. Number 34, Damian Brinks, who is Aiden's mentor turned antagonist, was voiced by Daniel Cash. This also sounds like a fake name, but again, it's not. He's known for his appearance in movies like Aliens, the 2014 RoboCop remake, and Mama. Insert Yo Mama joke here.
Hey, Yo Mama's so fat, when she sat on Walmart, she lowered the prices. Oh yeah, well Yo Mama's like a bad pilot because she can't fly. Okay, well Yo Mama's so stupid she broke into a glass house to see what was inside. Oh yeah, well Yo Mama's like a burning biplane because she... No, dude, you gotta say something like Yo Mama's so stupid or Your Mama's so fat and then make a joke like that. Okay, Yo Mama's so dumb she died in a plane crash. What? This is what I've been trying to tell you!
Number 35, Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs are in the same universe, just like every other Ubisoft game. Looking at you, Far Cry 3. In Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, the protagonist meets Oliver Garneau, the CCO of Abstergo Entertainment. I've talked about this a little bit in my Far Cry 3 video, so again, check that out if you haven't. In Black Flag, Oliver is a competent and friendly employer, but halfway through that game, he has to travel to Chicago for a shareholders meeting. The player in Watch Dogs now takes this opportunity to hack Oliver's computer and find information. While exploring some computer files, the player can find emails about the Bloom Corporation offering a partnership with Abstergo. In fact, employees in the office will even talk about Bloom casually if players stop to listen. In Black Flag, when this Oliver guy goes to Chicago, he's basically not mentioned again, and given the exciting story from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, it's easy to forget that Oliver is gone, but this is where the crossover comes in. As we all know, Watch Dogs takes place in Chicago, and everything that I just explained about what happens in Watch Dogs is a secret mission on a type of side mission in Watch Dogs called Criminal Convoy. For these criminal convoy missions, Aiden must disable a vehicle on a preset path to take down the high threat criminal. Now, after completing every single criminal convoy in the game, which there's a lot of them, players will unlock a bonus mission, which is to take down Oliver Garneau. Aiden delivers special dialogue about the target, stating that Oliver is involved in genetic memory manipulation and sketchy pharmaceuticals. Both Oliver's disappearance and Aiden's mission to take him down come near the end of their respective games, making completion a necessity to uncover their connection. And that was a long fact. Number 36, there are a lot more Assassin's Creed references throughout Watch Dogs, and I'm not going to go through each one by one, but I will mention this one. Occasionally you will see an NPC on the street, and if you profile them, you will see that they are former Abstergo employees. Number 37, it is possible to go through the entire campaign without killing anyone, except for the three main antagonists. but that wouldn't be too much fun and not to mention extremely difficult. Number 38, to encourage players to pre-order Watch Dogs at GameStop, they were giving away a limited edition Watch Dogs poster illustrated by Chicago-based artist Alex Ross. Number 39, the profiler phone that Aiden uses in Watch Dogs resembles an iPhone 5, which would actually make sense because the iPhone 6 didn't come out until a few months after the game actually got released on PlayStation 4, so the first phone before that would be the iPhone 5. And yes, I did actually research which phone came out first, because the initial fact was saying that this phone resembled the iPhone 4, but it wouldn't make sense because the 4 was released 3 years prior to when the game took place. My goodness, what a way to make a short fact seem a lot longer. Number 40, there is a reputation and morality system in Watch Dogs. I don't think it's quite as in-depth as the likes of, Red Dead Redemption 2, but there are news stories that will pop up about the vigilante, and depending on if your reputation is good or bad, will determine how the news story affects the public around you. Number 41, the development team behind Watch Dogs hired real-life hackers to get a better understanding of the terminology hackers might use and things that they would do to make things appear more authentic in Watch Dogs. Number 42, as explained briefly earlier, Watch Dogs was received very well, selling the highest number of units of any Ubisoft game in 24 hours, which was 10 million copies. That is until Tom Clancy's The Division doubled that number in March of 2016, selling 20 million units in 24 hours. Number 43, IGN gave Watch Dogs an 8.4 and Watch Dogs got a score of 80 on Metacritic. So the game was mostly positive reviews except for the whole graphical downgrade debacle. Number 44, Aiden Pierce, also known as the Vigilante or the Fox, is the main protagonist of Watch Dogs, a minor character in Watch Dogs 2, a playable character in Watch Dogs Legion, and one of the two main protagonists alongside Wrench of the DLC Bloodline. He is the overall main protagonist of the Watch Dogs series since he has appeared in all 3 games and the DLC. Number 45, are you ready for another long one? Here we go. Aiden Pierce was born on May 2nd, 1974 and grew up in Belfast, Ireland alongside his younger sister Nicole. His mother took the siblings to the United States in order to escape their father, who was implied to have been an abusive parent. As a child, he grew up in a rough neighborhood and frequently had to protect his family. Over time, his mother slowly noticed how similar Aiden was becoming like his father, and that her once sweet little boy was now gone. He also learned about computers and grew to become a very skilled hacker. As a young adult, Aiden became a member of a criminal gang. He purchased lessons in hand-to-hand combat, marksmanship, and weapons of all kinds, which contribute towards his career as a thief. He also operated as a fixer, which provided him deep insight of the criminal underworld. A fixer is like a hitman for the hacker world, I guess. Number 46, continuing the route of Aiden, Aiden later became an uncle when Nicole had 2 children named Jackson and Lena. In the unexplained absence of their father, Aiden acted as a parental figure for them growing up. He regularly brought them to a small town of Pawnee and often took them fishing. In 2005, Aiden was nearly arrested by a gym trainer who had noticed some injuries, and unable to afford the risk, he swiftly eliminated him. After this event, he began studying big cons, social engineering, psychology, and intimidation tactics in order to ensure that he could win a fight before it even began. Aiden later became acquainted with the fellow hacker named Damian Brinks. The pair taught each other specific hacking skills, and the two proved to be a strong team. That is, of course, until Damien became an antagonist to Aiden. Number 47, Watch Dogs received a VGX award for the most anticipated game. Of course, when it came out, there was a few controversies as explained earlier. And finally, number 48. Watch Dogs as a phrase means a person or organization that monitors and publicizes the behavior of others, individuals, corporations, or governments to discover undesirable activity. And if you've played the game, which I do recommend if you haven't, this is very obvious in the game and the title is very fitting. And that's about it for this fact video. I really hope you enjoyed it and I enjoyed making it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new here. So let's see what I am playing next with this next video. It's my wife in a Scream mask because we recorded this portion of the video around Halloween time. So yeah, enjoy my wife in a Scream mask. Here we go.